Let's see. We should be connecting now. It says excellent. Do I believe it? I don't know. It will give the... there we go. We are back on YouTube again. Yay! Huzzah. Now people will have a third opportunity to like Liberal Dan Radio Talk from Left. That's right. Ha-ha! Huzzah. And we'll see how many people come back. Again, it's a pain in the fucking ass. I'm hoping that the issue is the router and not the... yeah, I'm hoping the issue is the router and not the... whatchamacallit, and not the connection itself. Who knows? I mean, it could be the wire. I don't know. Maybe the router will come with the wire and we'll get to replace that too. We'll see. But as old Donnie Boy says...
it is what it is.
Thank you, Donald. Yeah, but this has just been a shit show of a show today. I don't think I'm going to get to chop this show up at all. Yeah, one more time, with feeling. Welcome back, Roxanne. Thank you for rejoining the chat. Let's throw this one down here as well, because I want to just share this one from the Twitter. The Twitter! Let's see, let's open this in a new tab as we're waiting for people to meander on in. For some reason, it doesn't want to grow any longer. Oh, there we go. That's better. That's a much bigger view. As we're waiting for people to... Hello again, Aaron. Thank you for joining. Appreciate you. Should I play music? Or maybe we should just do this. Say this.
Here we go. Let's do it the hard way. But the hard way, I think, is probably the easy way.
Thank you, Donald. That your logic there sounds exactly like what I'm dealing with right now. Yes, Jeff, you have 3 thumbs. Do you live close to a nuclear reactor? I don't know. So, but let's turn on the laptop screen and show right here. Ann Coulter, watching Fox News, assure viewers that the Iran war is going super well and Trump is a total stud is like watching the same network assure viewers that Dominion voting systems rigged the 2020 election and that Trump was the winner. So not only is Ann Coulter mocking Fox News, Ann Coulter is also basically, admitting that the whole claims that 2020 election was stolen was false. So I am shook, not just that she's attacking Fox News about, saying that the war in Iran is going super, super well. I am also shocked that she's admitting that Trump lost the 2020 election. And then EmptyGee, former rep EmptyGee, old 6B, says Fox News is now the fake news, brainwashing boomers to support what we voted against. I mean, if I had popcorn in my hands right now, I would be eating it with glee and joyfully because holy shit, the fact that Ann Coulter and EmptyGee are now attacking Fox News for their reporting of the war, mind fucking blown. Absurd. Like it's great. I'm loving it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it. But yeah, old EmptyGee and Ann Coulter. Who would have had that on their 2026 bingo card? That not just EmptyGee, but Ann Coulter going after Trump and Fox News. I mean, Ann Coulter got huge on Fox News. I'm sure Fox News hosts are going to say something like, these folks ain't loyal, or some other way that some people would say it in a much more sexist way. So, yes, you're shocked. I'm shocked. Everybody's shocked. But for the record, they didn't vote against it. They're just fucking stupid. Yeah, true. So, what else? Maybe some of this I'm just going to have to record separately just to make sure that if we have another breakup that we'll be able to just edit the clips together. And we'll talk about it that way. So we'll do that. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth intervened to stop promotions of black and female officers. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth intervened to stop promotions of several high-ranking service members, including 4 Army officers, 2 black men, and 2 female soldiers on track to become one-star generals. According to a U.S. official not authorized to speak publicly, Hegseth made his highly unusual move of interfering in the regular promotion process, as first reported in the New York Times. A second U.S. official, also not authorized to speak publicly, confirmed that Hegseth has been weeding out senior officers who are deemed ideologically incompatible. And what makes somebody ideologically incompatible? Well, it seems like if you're a woman or if you're black, that's the first place where they go. NPR also learned that a black colonel and a female colonel from another branch of the military were taken off the promotion list, according to a U.S. official not authorized to speak publicly. This would bring the total to at least 6 promotions blocked by Pete Hegseth. And yeah, asking Google as to what happened, Hegseth intervened on the promotion process, bypassing Army leadership to strike the names of 2 black officers, 2 female officers from the promotion list, aiming for a meritocratic overhaul. But of course, it's not a meritocracy because those people were deemed worthy of it for being for what they've done in uniform and, you know, as part of their existing roles in the military. And he just said, fuck the meritocracy. We're going to make this a white people tocracy, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know if there's a better name for that. A racialocracy, if you will. Caucasocracy? I don't know. One black officer was reportedly targeted for a paper he wrote 15 years prior regarding black officers, and a female officer was targeted for her service during her 2021 Afghanistan withdrawal. Hegseth has also fired General Charles Q. Brown Jr., who is also a black individual, as chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff, and relieved Admiral Lisa Franchetti, who is the first female Navy chief, from her role. He has also removed other high-ranking women, including Air Force Lieutenant General Jennifer Short and Vice Admiral Shoshana Chatfield. The focus on white male leadership under his tenure, top leadership positions, chairman, vice chairman, service chiefs, and combat commanders have returned to being overwhelmingly white and male. His actions have been described as a frontal assault aimed at reversing diversity initiatives and removing leaders he deemed woke, according to reports. Of course, woke to these people doesn't mean what it really means. There's a video on what woke actually means on LiberalDanRadio.com. However, to them, woke means, you know, black, or I guess in this point, women too. So that's what woke means to them. So, yeah. Hegseth is putting his racism and bigotry on full display. What else is... That's that. Eric Trump invested in drone maker shortly before Iran war. Now, the company is called Extend. Now, one would think that maybe Extend would sound like a name of a boner pill company, but the only boner was our electing Donald Trump not once but twice to office, and the company that Eric Trump invested in is making drones that potentially be used in the Iran war. Days before the U.S. and Israel attacked Iran on February 28th, 2026, U.S. President Donald Trump's son Eric Trump invested in a company that makes autonomous drones driven by AI, Extend, an Israeli company that makes AI-operated autonomous drones, and JFB Construction Holdings, a U.S. construction company, announced on February 17th that they were merging. An official statement on the Securities and Exchange Commission's website listed Eric Trump as one of the investors in the merger. Another investor of the merger was Unusual Machines, a drone maker that counts another one of Trump's sons, Donald Trump Jr., on its advisory board. Once the merger is complete, the joint company, which is expected to be named Extend AI Robotics, will trade publicly as a part of NASDAQ. In March 2026, a rumor spread that Eric Trump had invested in a drone company just before the start of the U.S.-Israel war in Iran. One person called the claim almost unbelievable. This is on Snopes. Usually I'm, begrudge some of these fact-checking sites because they get too hyper-specific. I'm surprised they actually came out and called this claim true. president's oversees U.S. military. The U.S. military is increasing drone warfare spending. The president's son invests in a drone warfare company with Pentagon contracts. That company is about to go public in a $1 billion deal, and we're supposed to just believe that this is just a coincidence. As we outlined below, the rumor was true. According to an official statement on the Securities and Exchange Commission, Eric Trump invested in the merger, which produces artificial intelligence drones, and JFB, a U.S. construction company. These companies announced the merger, yada, yada, yada. Another investor in the merger, again, Unusual Machines, Donald Trump, yada, yada, yada. So yeah, I'm sure these people are going to make millions of dollars on this investment, on this, merger that just, so happened to, and the investment happened to take place right before the attack on Iran. Again, cannot be seen as, I refuse to believe that this is a coincidence. Can you imagine what would have happened had Hunter Biden invested in a company like this before Joe Biden took action that in the military that could benefit that stock acquisition?
Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, whole numbers would flip. Had Biden done it, then scream foul play. But Trump did it, so it must be okay.
Anyway, so who's going to hold these clowns responsible? Anybody in the federal government? Clearly not, because they're not going to go after Trump's sons for crimes, even though Biden allowed the federal government to continue their prosecution of his son, despite the fact that he could have just quashed the case immediately. But Biden was more hands-off as it pertained to the Department of Justice as it compares to what Donald Trump does, who likes to have a firm grip on everything in the Department of Justice. I wonder if that includes people in the Department of Justice as well. That being said, again, this is corruption. This stinks, but nobody's going to do anything about it because the people who would do anything about it are Trump sycophants. Simple as that. Jennifer, can you get a boner by electing a limp dick twice? that deserves a...
Oh my.
Yeah. So, what else? Oh, yeah, there's a website called onlyfarms.gov. Yeah, or there's a domain, onlyfarms.gov, and that onlyfarms.gov links to the whitehouse.gov/agriculture, just to show you how childish this administration is. They make an official website or official domain that's basically a playoff of OnlyFans, and then puts it into their propaganda machine about the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Basically, the whitehouse.gov website is a propaganda machine, and talking about all the wonderful things that Trump did for farmers, which we know is a bunch of bunk because, if you read between the lines and understand what the hell's going on with his administration, you'll understand that Donald Trump has screwed over the farmers more than anything in the one huge piece of shit bill could have done to help them. Right? Yeah, Brenda, this has all been one giant smash and grab. Exactly. See, he wrote papers about how big companies can self-insure people. Another around raw. Who wrote that about self-insuring people? I don't know. I have a big problem with self-insurance right now because I'm dealing with that issue right now. Anyway, let's talk about this a second, shall we? There are conservative Christians right now that are complaining about the Israeli government, and not the usual suspects, but typically the people who would be backing Israel, like, Mike Huckabee and folks who typically would just be more than happy to get down on their knees, not in prayer, but in front of Benjamin Netanyahu. Israeli authorities in late March temporarily blocked high-ranking Catholic officials and worshipers from Palm Sunday Mass at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre and restricted Ramadan prayers at Al-Aqsa, citing security threats amid the conflict with Iran. Following international criticism, Netanyahu reversed the church restrictions, but Did he reverse the ones on Ramadan prayer? Clearly not. Police initially barred Cardinal Pisbala and other church officials from entering the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, citing safety concerns. The ban was later reversed after outrage from Vatican, Italy, and other leaders. Al-Aqsa Mosque access. Israel restricted access to Al-Aqsa during Ramadan 2026, limiting attendance to specific age groups and requiring permits, which led to significant reductions in worshippers. Authorities cited security situations, concerns over emergency access in the Old City of Jerusalem as the primary reasons for limiting access to major religious sites. Of course, it's a problem of their own making because of the fact that guess what? Guess what? If Israel wouldn't have attacked Iran in an unnecessary way, then Iran wouldn't be, firing missiles back at Israel. But did Israel, stop people from praying at the Western Wall? They might have reduced it a bit, but Jewish people weren't able to pray at the Western Wall. Now, there are other bans that are going forward that other Jewish people are complaining about because they only want to allow, like, the ultra-Orthodox to pray in their segregated ways and not allow others to pray in, other areas. But, this is, again, the Israeli government taking actions that not just now go after Muslim folks, but also now have enraged Christian folks, too. So, again, remember who y'all back. And, when you back pieces of shit like Netanyahu, you get shitty behavior in response. It's as simple as that. And also, just another thing to add on to this, Israel is basically pushing legislation. I don't know if it's fully passed yet, but I'm sure it will. That would give anybody in the West Bank who is convicted of or who's accused of, crimes that they deem to be terrorism in a specific court that is most likely to convict people of terrorism, question as to whether or not those convictions are legitimate, that will automatically give them the death penalty. Now, if you're the Jewish state, you're the Jewish state, you're run by Benjamin Netanyahu. And again, I'm not trying to say this as a way to blame all Jews. I'm Jewish, so I want to be very careful here, making sure that, these are the people who are trying to maintain the Jewish ethno-state of Israel, right? So if you're trying to have a Jewish ethno-state, let's go back to Jewish history. Let's go back to your Torah. Let's go back to the Mishnah. Let's go back to the Tanakh. Let's go back to all of our holy texts that you learned in wherever you learned it. If you learned it in elementary school, in middle school, in high school, or beyond, wherever you learned, maybe you studied at the Rabbinical Academy. I don't know. But if you're knowledgeable about Judaism and Jewish rules, you'll know that according to the old rules under, Israel from way back in the day, from Judea, if you know those old rules, and you had, the court that would rule on whether or not somebody should get an eye for an eye penalty, which includes the death penalty. The idea was you don't want to have the death penalty. If you had one death penalty conviction in that oldie time court over the course of 70 years, and I think I'm remembering this right from my old Hebrew school days, one death in response to a crime over the course of 70 years you would consider that court to be a bloody court, a.k.a. you don't want to have death penalty convictions, and it's only supposed to be used as a last resort. So if you really want to have a Jewish ethno-state that uses the rules of Judaism or whatever, I think all states should be secular and no religion should be in charge of any state. That you want to practice your own religion, fine, but at all states, all governments should be secularly run and allow anybody who's practicing their religion to practice it freely, as long as it's not harming anybody else. But if you really are wanting to have a Jewish ethno-state, you should be following all of your rules from Judaism, all of the rules from the religious text, which includes the fact that a court that gives one death penalty over the course of 70 years would be labeled as a bloody court, and that viewed as a negative, not as a positive. But as we all know, Benjamin Netanyahu is a war criminal. As we all know, Benjamin Netanyahu has the blood of lots of people on his hands and has no problem murdering innocents to further his cause and to keep himself out of prison for the charges for which he is accused of. And, hasn't yet been convicted of, but he's been accused of these charges, and he's using these wars as, the attacks on Gaza, the attacks on Iran, to basically try and say, oh, I'm in charge now, and we're in a war, so you can't go after me while I'm doing all that, trying to distract the populace, much like Donald Trump is trying to distract the populace from the Epstein files and all the other bullshit that he's done during his presidency. So now you've had a little bit of Jewish knowledge dropped on you from Liberal Dan Radio, talk from the left, that's right. And, what happened about the prayer sites, look, if sirens are currently going off, I can understand them trying to say, you know what, you need to get to bomb shelters, you need to get out of this area right now. I understand that. I would understand that particularly. But to stop people from praying because of the emergency that you created, I have a problem with that. I have a big problem with that. I don't care what religion it is, Christians, Muslims, Jewish, anybody else. I have a huge problem with that, and of course I have a huge problem with their rush and desire to go after the death penalty for just on a court that seems to be kind of biased. No, if you disagree, if you don't think that court is biased, if you think that court convicts people fairly, you're free to leave your comments. I'm fine with that. Let me know if you agree with what that court has done and if you think that court can be trusted to give people that. Like, I'm not opposed to the death penalty overall. I'm not opposed to the death penalty. I think there needs to be stricter rules as to who gets it. Like, I don't think it should just simply be beyond reasonable doubt. I think there should be no doubt whatsoever that the person was convicted of, was actually rightly convicted of the crimes that were done. I mean, there are people who were committed acts of treason who, tried to kill people, in this country that may very well get that, should get that. There are also people, who have been responsible for the deaths of many, 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 many people who are political leaders who probably also should get the death penalty. And look, if you're found, if you're found guilty of those crimes, again, if there's no doubt, I'm not going to sit here and cry for a death penalty, but it seems like them just putting it on the West Bank, it's not about actual justice, it's about terrorism and fear. State-sponsored terrorism and fear on the part of the Israeli government, and that is absolutely 100% wrong, and I'm going to stand against that. Regardless of my religious beliefs, regardless of the faith that I stand for, I will stand against that every day of the week, twice on Sunday, and even on the Sabbath, because if it's saving a life, again, anybody who's over there who's trying to pretend to uphold a Jewish ethno-state, the most important rule in Judaism overall is to save a fucking life. That's the most important rule. If there was a person who had a gun to somebody else's head and said, and if I was an observant Jew, and if somebody had a gun to somebody else's head and said, I'm going to shoot this person unless you eat a ham and cheese sandwich with mayonnaise on it on Yom Kippur. Jewish law would not only allow me to eat that sandwich, it would require me to eat that sandwich to save that life if I truly felt that it would be that way. Like, I can absolutely take whatever action. Like, if I'm starving and if I need to eat to keep myself alive and the only thing available for me to eat is a pile of bacon, Jewish law would tell me that I can eat that pile of bacon. There's a movie called The Frisco Kid, which has Harrison Ford and Gene Wilder. Harrison Ford's a cowboy. Gene Wilder's a rabbi trying to make his way west, trying to San Francisco. And there's a scene where the rabbi, played by Gene Wilder, refuses, I don't know if it's Gene Hackman, but it's Gene Wilder, refuses to get on the horse as the bad people are chasing them. He refuses to get on the horse because it's the Sabbath. And he refuses to ride on a horse until the sun goes down. Now, of course, he kind of plays fast and loose with the rules because it's not technically sundown, but the sun goes below the mountain. So therefore, oh, look, the sun's down. We can now get on our horses. But under Jewish law, he would have absolutely been able to hop on that horse and ride away as fast as possible. Why? Because it would be saving his own life from what Jewish law would call a rodef, or a pursuer. To bring in a whole nother topic into this whole conversation, that's why Jewish people are often pro-choice when it comes to saving the life of the person who is pregnant. If you're pregnant and you're facing a problematic pregnancy, Jewish law will require you to get not just allow you, but require you to get an abortion. Why? Because according to Jewish law, the fetus that's threatening to kill you is also considered a pursuer, a rodef, somebody who's going to do you harm. And as such, you are required by Jewish law to get an abortion to save your own life. Now, I don't want that being the law of land. I don't want the law requiring anybody to do anything. But the law should allow people to save their own lives. But again, that's why a lot of people don't understand Judaism, especially a lot of people who happen to be high up in government and either claim to support the Jews and protect the Jews, or who are Jewish themselves. Those people have no idea what they're talking about whatsoever. Anyway. Surrender Mike, I'm sorry, dude. I would eat bacon and change religion because bacon is the tits, not because someone pointed a gun at somebody else. No, look. Well, the pointing the gun at somebody was the ham and cheese sandwich, not the bacon. But that being said, I'm not observant, not one bit. I mean, I love bacon. I eat bacon all the damn time. Bacon is a gift. Bacon is a wonderful thing. And I would absolutely eat a shit ton of bacon if my appetite allowed me to on Zepbound. Probably still could eat several pieces of bacon at least. But the point is that, wait, do we have a troll? I don't know if we have a troll. What if the sandwich has been indicted? Well, they can indict a ham sandwich. This administration, yeah, that's a good question, TV2 Live. What if the ham sandwich has been indicted? Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately for some people, it seems like we have people in the Trump administration who have been appointed by Donald Trump to serve him, not this country, but to serve him, can't even indict a ham sandwich. So, but good to see you, Kellahella. Thank you for joining. Nick's here. What? Nick, is Nick the troll? Good to see you, Nick. I was too busy. Staring directly at the camera, making my rant, to notice that you had come on in. To everybody who doesn't know, Nick is the person who I did the Liberal Dan Radio's Political Tower of Power, those first two videos, and we intend to do more. So, but what did Nick say in the chat? Let me see. If you have a problem with people stopping people from praying, what's your take on Don Lemon and the people who ran up in the church to interrupt their service? My take on that was there's no evidence that Don Lemon was actually involved in stopping people from praying. That Don Lemon was actually trying to cover somebody else doing that. And journalists should have the First Amendment right to follow others, to see what they're doing, and to report on it. So if you support the First Amendment right of a free press, you would support the idea that Don Lemon should be able to follow people who are committing crimes and report on them and follow them. Look, if it was, maybe some of his footage that he take would actually be useful to the people being prosecuted. Do I believe in people stopping others from prayer? As long as the prayer isn't, having a negative effect on others, like, if you're sitting there and, forming a prayer chain around a clinic that's giving needed procedures to somebody, then yeah, I have a problem with that prayer. You shouldn't be able to impede other people's access and entrance to like a healthcare clinic. But otherwise, there are probably other examples where a prayer thing, if you're doing more than just, doing your First Amendment right, guess what? I'm going to support your right to pray, regardless of if you're Muslim, Hispanic, Jewish, Christian, etc. Whatever faith you happen to be, you want to pray, go on and pray. Doesn't hurt me any for you to sit there and pray. But I am going to sit here and advocate and protect the right of journalists to cover people doing bad shit. So, see, have you seen the little piggies crawling in the dirt? The reference. Oh, what's the reference? It's in the back of my head. I can hear it, but it's in my head. Yeah. It's Beatles. Yes, absolutely. Yes. The George, is it the George Harrison song, right? Little piggies with their piggy eyes. Like I know the song. I haven't heard it a lot as compared to other ones, but yes, I do like the Little Piggy song. That's why I was pinging in the back of my head, but I couldn't immediately remember it. So yes, I know War Pigs as well, but that's a different Piggy song. Let's see. Recently, the IDF admitted to posting fake image of a Lebanese journalist killed in strike, doctored to look like he was affiliated with Hezbollah. Nice. Of course, I wouldn't expect anything different from the government of Israel's propaganda machine. So, yeah. And I also do not call him the nickname Netanyahu. I reject calling Netanyahu by that stupid nickname, not just because of the fact that, he wasn't used to be called, he used to be called, but I refuse to give him a cutesy sounding name because he's not a cutesy sounding person. So, white album craziness, some substances may have been involved, absolutely were involved. Yeah, exactly, Janelle. He was just following protesters. He happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. He was in the right place. He was following the protesters. He was reporting on what they were doing. He wasn't taking part. That's the thing. But Donald Trump hates Don Lemon, and as such, he's going to go after him regardless. So because Donald Trump is actually using lawfare to go after his political enemies, whereas Biden, the Biden administration, because it wasn't Biden doing it, because Biden had a more hands-off role on whatever, was trying to and failing to go after Trump for his actual crimes that were committed. So, yeah, he was one of 3 in a press-marked car. Yeah, exactly. So, I was like, was I still recording that? I don't know, but I was not still recording that. There's at least 2 things I want to talk about, if not more. What was this thing that I pulled up? Oh, that's just, so I was trying to find some information to see what exactly the polls said after the 2016 Nevada primaries, because we're having a conversation with the Atrocious Every Game early in the show before the chat was showing up, which was basically saying that, questioning why Trump used poorly educated instead of uneducated. And I want to say that the polling data said clearly use the term poorly educated instead of using the term uneducated, and that's why Trump would have said it. That being said, I was able to find the only links that I found before the show started were links that showed quoting him saying poorly educated and not quoting the polls. So I'd have to look a little bit into that. So, anyway, so we're not going to talk about that one anymore. Maybe we'll talk about it if I can actually find the information. There are 2 things that I did want to talk about today as well. First of all, Donald Trump is an effing war criminal, and he'll be even more of one if he were to continue on doing what he threatened to do, which is threatening to blow up desalination plants in Iran if no deal is reached. Donald Trump has renewed his threat to blow off a range of civilian infrastructure in Iran, including all of the country's desalination plants, in a move that would threaten the water source for millions of people that experts say would be illegal. You don't need to be an expert to know that would be illegal. That just should be illegal on its face, and nobody should support that. United States president has been regularly warning Iran about possible U.S. strikes against energy and electricity facilities, but he added water stations to the list of targets. The United States of America is in serious discussions with a new and more reasonable regime to end their military operations in Iran. But he's claimed great progress has been made. But if great progress has been made, why does he need to make the threat? But if for any reason a deal is not shortly reached, which it probably will be, and the Hormuz Strait is not immediately open for business, we will conclude our lovely stay by blowing up and completely obliterating all of their electric plants, oil wells, and Karg Island, and possibly all desalinization plants, which we have purposely yet not touched. Of course, you targeted a school and killed children, so there's that. But yes, there's a difference between targeting military installations and happening to hit other things. Of course, you should always be careful to only target those that are valid military targets, and targeting that. If he targets those plants that remove the salt from the water, I mean, absolutely, he should be dragged in front of The Hague, and he should absolutely be removed from office. Nobody from this administration will do so, but that would be not only an impeachable offense, that should be something that should get him charged with a war crime in front of The Hague, and that should cause him to have that ultimate penalty to punish him for that. Because, holy crap, what kind of a piece of shit human are you? We already know here on Liberal Dan Radio, Talk From Left, That's Right, that Donald Trump is a piece of shit. But if he were to actually do that, like, he's claiming, and we don't believe anything he claims, but he's claiming, or the people on the right want the people of Iran to stand up and overthrow the bad leaders of Iran to take over their own government for themselves. If you kill all that infrastructure, including the desalination plants, guess what? You're not going to have the support of the people. The people are going to want to come after you specifically and us specifically. You're going to put American lives at risk by doing so. And anybody who still supports this president after that would happen, how would you be able to look yourself in the mirror at night? I mean, I don't know how they look themselves in the mirror already, but that would just add another thing to the pile. It's not just absurd, it's morally abhorrent that he would threaten that, and it would be even more morally abhorrent if he would do that. Right? I mean, who can disagree with that targeting those installations would be wrong? I can't think of anybody within the right mind that would think that would be okay. Period. I don't even think that's worthy of the song "Atrocious at Every Game." I think that's too serious of a thing to talk about. Let's see. Plus, Iran already said if their DS get hits, every other Middle Eastern country's DS infrastructure, and yeah, that's going to cause. I mean, and look, that would be bad of them as well. I mean, that would then be, those people would also be to blame for that happening. But still, if they took out all of the ability for the people of Iran to get clean fucking water, yeah, that's murdering people. Then where are they going to go? It's ridiculous and it's absurd. Trump doesn't use mirrors. The Russians forward Iran with satellite pictures of him. Yeah. See, I said my nickname for whatever, and chat froze and never appeared on the wall of Dan's. Let's see. Do I see anything from Big Hook? I don't know. But anyway. See, what was it? What's that, Big Hook? Butt jamming net shark poo? That's kind of long or whatever. See, if Donald really wanted that, he'd have used lifting of sanctions in exchange for opening up material and cultural trade instead of attacking. Same with Cuba stuff, but Donald is dumb and only operates on coercion, pretty much. Come up with something easier to spell and or type then, Liberal Dan. Sorry. It's morally abhorrent. Don't compliment him like that. Sorry, Kalahela. But, as he says...
It is what it is.
See, the last thing I did want to talk about today before we, again, we're probably not going to open up the phone line simply because of the fact that I don't want to have to deal with any more of this crap. And I feel lucky as it is to not have anything, ending right now, right? But there was a few things, I think, from the press conference today that were, I think, What's-Your-Face was... before we do that, let's look at one thing before. Let's turn off the audio so y'all don't hear it. I want to see if there's a transcript. Let's see. Yeah, we're gonna fast forward ahead to a lot. Let's see. Blah, 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 blah. I don't know. Was it not that? We'll listen to this one first, and then if we don't find it, we'll have to search for it again. but let's bring back up a laptop, and here she is, all a smiling.
On the ballroom,
Caroline.
can you tell us more about this massive military complex underneath the president's new ballroom?
I cannot tell you more about that, actually, as a matter of fact. However, the military is making some upgrades to their facilities here at the White House, and I'm not privy to provide any more details on that at this time. Caroline, go ahead. Reagan.
Thanks, Caroline. Question on the Middle East,
She's not privy, so she's not in the bathroom.
and then a question on Antifa. Netanyahu.
No, that wasn't the one. I don't know. It's let's close that one a sec. Let's just see if we can maybe find in the transcript or whatever. I just brought up the video at the end, so let's see. Because apparently she flipped out about some question that was asked about the ballroom, but I don't see. Maybe we'll just have to cover that on the next show. Maybe I'll just take a note of it on the next show or whatever. WTF is she wearing? I don't give a shit what she's wearing. Again, again, that's one of the things that I disagree with doing. Like, you know, I'm not going to sit here and criticize her for wearing whatever it is she wants to wear, because we don't do the same thing for dudes. So if we're not going to do the same thing for dudes, we're not going to do the same thing for women. You know, I don't give a crap about what she wears. She could be wearing a potato sack for all she cares. I mean, she wouldn't, because, you know, one would hope that, you know, the person who's the press secretary would, you know, dress up in a way that, you know, is nice. But still, I'm not going to sit here and berate somebody for wearing whatever it is that she's wearing, simply because of the fact that we wouldn't do the same thing for guys. So, or Boomer says, and it's lovely, Liberal Dan. But again, I really don't care what she wears. Again, I mean, you could, whatever you think about it, it's fine. But again, I'm just not going to sit here and judge women for what they wear, because we don't judge guys for what they wear. And I'd rather judge her on the content of her statements, or the lack thereof, as opposed to, you know, what they happen to be, how they happen to be dressed. Let's see if I can find this real quick here. It freaks out about ballroom entrance. Let's see. Maybe it was yesterday that did it. No, that's not there. It's not available. Oh, did we lose? Fuck. Are we back? Are we back again? Was it just a brief hiccup? I think it was just a brief hiccup. Let's see if we can find it. Let's see, filter it for this week. Let's see if we can find it. Blah, blah, blah. No, that's still there. Is it here? No, that's not that either. We're just going to have to find it for the next show, because I'm not going to say, I don't want to risk. Imagine if Biden had hiccuped. Yeah.
Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, whole numbers would flip. Had Biden done it, that scream foul play. But Trump did it, so it must be okay.
Anyway, Big Hook. Message me what you're trying to type, or your nickname, and I will see if I can type that and see if it gets censored or not. I would love to see if that's the case. I would love to see what is getting censored specifically, because I want to look that up to see why it's getting blocked. But yeah, absolutely, send me that via chat, and we will talk about that maybe on another show as well. But yeah, we definitely will talk about this at the next show if we can find the video of it. But before we have any more hiccups, we are going to just go ahead. I don't want to take any more. I don't want to take calls today. We'll wait till we get a new router, and hopefully things will be good. Anyway, but we will see you next time on Liberal Dan Radio. Talk from the left. That's right. Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays at 8 p.m. Central. If you haven't liked the stream for a third time, please make sure to like the stream for the third time, or your first time if you haven't liked any of the streams yet. But we will go ahead and play a couple of our songs on the way out. And if for some reason the internet hiccups again, we're just going to do a hard close and we won't get all the songs. Let's see. He sent it via Messenger. Let's pop that open real quick and just see what it is before we actually end the show. I want to see what it is. Oh, I have to go back to my regular account and not the Liberal Dan account. Let's look at that. And then Net and Bomb You. Nice. Okay, I mean, it's a good name. Let's see if it lets me do it. See if it comes up on the chat. Comes up in the whatever. I'm wondering if the person who's the host can actually have it show up. Or maybe it's something that's a Botrix thing. I don't know. But we will see. We'll see if Jackie's post shows up before mine does. Or shows up without mine showing up. Yep, the fish showed up. Good night, Steve. Also Sprout My Wings. It did not show me, showing Net and Bomb You as well. YouTube itself didn't do this, so it looks like it's Botrix that's doing it. Maybe it's Botrix that's actually doing the censoring and not YouTube itself. I will look into that and see why Botrix might be doing that and get back to you on that one. But again, we are going to, again, say goodbye for today's. Now's the time to say goodbye to friends like you and me. I don't know, it's not M-I-C-K-E-Y-M-O-U-S-E, but F-U-C-K-T-R-U-M-P. Anyway, with that, I shall bid you all adieu, and we will see you again Wednesday, same bat time, same bat channel. Have a great one. Peace.
He said nobody who healthcare could be so complicated. The Obamacare debate was 6 months litigated. Here's a med school debt got capitalized. Insurance claim forms so high they nearly capsized. But he wouldn't know the frustration of trying to get prior authorization. Everybody knew, the whole world knew, the doctors, the lawyers, the CBO crew. Oh, 30,000 pages already reviewed. It wasn't a big secret. We knew. Don't realize Obama deported, but the porter-in-chief is what La Raza retorted. Obama went after the violent folks and felons, drunk nabbed the dishwashers and people picking melons. But Obama's argument shows that he's not very bright. If Obama made some wrongs, 2 wrongs don't make a right. We knew. He asked who knew a virus could be so contagious. Virologist blinked at someone so outrageous. He was surprised at how many countries existed. No wonder when the virus spread, he the one who missed it. Spread them out, slit red in every deadly hue. World Health Memo said we already knew. Everybody knew. Oh, the whole world knew. Oh, the lab coats, the leaders, and we were with the flu. Oh, the nations of the world, more than 192. It wasn't a big secret. We knew. You unveil oxygen like contraband air. Like 60. You sat down, claiming to discover chess. War called money was his big surprise. Iraq has oil, can you believe your eyes? He said, we are divided, a surprise to no one thinking. And he was most surprised a Republican was Lincoln. Everybody knew, the whole world knew. The Christians, the Muslims, atheists, and the Jews. Like being shot, they have animals at the zoo. It wasn't a big secret. We knew. Everybody knew. Everybody knew. Everybody knew. Everybody knew.
They wrote it in the laws, ink still bleeds. Treating women like soil, just planting seeds. She's gone, brain dead, not even awake. But the state's got a claim, gonna plant its stake. Say it's God's will, say it's life they protect. But they ain't the ones feeling pain or neglect. From Texas to Georgia, they set the trap. Rights rolled back while they smile and clap. Gilead's here, this is true. Hey, MAGA fools, they'll come for you too. So I'm gonna jet, see you later. I'm not gonna be a baby incubator. This ain't pro-life, it's control and shame. They don't care if she's gone, just playing a game. Keep her hooked to machines, cold and still. Just a vessel to them, not a human with will. No consent, no voice, no chance to resist. Just laws in place, written with a clenched fist. Hospitals scared, judges playing God. Bodies ain't temples, just stay on pods. Gilead's here, this is true. Hey, MAGA fools, they'll come for you too. So I'm gonna jet, see you later. I'm not gonna be a baby incubator. Bands in the dark, they don't care who it kills. Sacking courts while they strip out all of your wills. But we'll fight back, march loud, burn bright. Cause this ain't the end, it's the start of the fight. Gilead's here, ain't no grace. And those leopards are coming to eat your face. So I'm gonna jet, see you later. I'm not gonna be a baby incubator. Not gonna be a baby incubator. Not gonna be a baby incubator.
Obama and Bush's pictures got hidden, obscuring the past, history rewritten. Hung in a hallway where no tour can see, confirming his unending fragility. If Trump can't see it, you must not exist. That also includes the Epstein list. Object permanent, a milestone missed. If Trump can't see it, he must not exist. The testing was the line that he said. Hundreds of thousands needlessly dead. Now HHS is run by brainworm quack, hiding the truth behind his back. If Trump can't see it, it must not exist. That also includes the Epstein list. An administration run by narcissists. If Trump can't see it, it must not exist. Of documents stacked floor to the wall. Top secret folders in a bathroom stall. Charges were pressed but the case was dropped. A corrupt judicial system he can co-opt. If Trump can't see it, it must not exist. House includes the Epstein list. He'll swear it's fake news, a liberal twist. If Trump can't see it, it must not exist. people that power won't need. Hide them away so the cameras can't find it. Proof of a system that's cold and unkind. A payout in secret, an NDA sign, an illegal bribe. Michael Cohen fine. Trump got fined too over his gag order, but she didn't gag cause he was much shorter. It must not exist. That also includes the Epstein list. We can't let him win, we must resist. If Trump can't see it, it must not exist.
Trump piled debt, trillions tall. Promised Mexico would fund that wall. Praised dictators, said they're strong. Had Joe done it, they'd say he's wrong. Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, whole numbers would flip. Had Biden done it, they'd scream foul play. But Trump did it, so it must be okay. Goes through crises, storms and more. Called soldiers losers who died in war. Hired his kids to run DC. If it was Hunter, they'd scream treachery. Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, the numbers would slip. Had Biden done it, Fox News would say I made. But Trump did it, so it must be okay. Love Kim Jong-un, he wrote love letters that take the guns first, lose those rights forever. Signed you spending bills with glee. Had Joe done that, it'd be tyranny. Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, whole numbers would flip. Had Biden done it, they shout out today. But Trump did it, so it must be okay. Kept secret files, countless untold. Said Putin's word was good as gold. Invited the Taliban to come to U.S. soil. If Joe had done that, they'd all recoil. Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, whole numbers would slip. Had Biden done it, they'd want him to pay. But Trump did it, so it must be okay. Double standards loud and clear. Rules for Trump, but not for peers. What they call treason if Joe's the name is patriotism when Donald's to blame. Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, whole numbers would slip. Had Biden done it, they'd shout no way. But Trump did it, so it must be okay.
Gather round, everyone, and I'll tell you a tale about an orange-faced buffoon who should be in a jail. When people say he's done something that goes beyond the pale, he will shake his head and give this answer without fail. A hoax, he says it's all a hoax. When at a press conference, so with misspelled keystrokes, he says he tells no lies and that he never jokes. Confronting with the truth, he'll say it's all a hoax. A modern Don Quixote, he hates the windmills, claiming to protect the birds and distractions like real sugar and cokes. Confronted with the truth, you'll say it's all a hoax. He promised to release all the Epstein files that caused all the MAGA base to react with smiles. But how long has he put it off? It sure has been a while, and now he's calling this a hoax, protecting pedophiles. A hoax, a hoax. He says it's all a hoax. When at a press conference or with misspelled keystrokes, he'll keep on gaslighting up until he crooks. Confronted with the truth, he'll say it's all a hoax.
The creative director at WGSO had a little something he thought you should know. When Dan picked on his bits, Steve got real gruff. So Steve called Dan a flake, called him liberal dandruff. Steve thinks that his lines are really clever, but when do people ever like him? Never. Liberal Dan's got better lyrics, this is true. Listen and you'll feel like I do. Liberal Dan, his show is great. Liberal Dan, he goes live at 8. Liberal Dan radio, it's the best, cause Liberal Dan's head and shoulders above the rest. Steve's about to find out his mistake. In this feud, Dan's Kendrick, Steve is Drake. Dan might not be the world's best singer, but he's got more talent in his little finger. Steve thinks that his lines are really clever, but when do people ever like him? Never. Liberal Dan's got better lyrics, this is true. Listen and you'll feel like I do. Liberal Dan, his show is great. Liberal Dan, he goes live at 8. Liberal Dan radio, it's the best, cause Liberal Dan's head and shoulders above the rest.